Liam had always believed that life in space would be quiet. Flying cargo ships between planets, avoiding storms of space debris, and delivering supplies to distant settlements were his normal days. Yet nothing in his experience had prepared him for the planet of Virelia, a world covered in swirling green oceans and tall crystal towers that shimmered like glass in the sun. As his small cargo shuttle descended toward the floating city of Valerian, Liam noticed children playing near the edge of a hovering platform. Some of the children were human, visiting with traders and explorers, but most were Virelians, small, alien beings with soft, glowing skin and wide, curious eyes. Among them, one child, no taller than Liam's knee, had wandered too close to a strange, pulsating energy barrier. The barrier was part of the city's protective system. It was meant to prevent accidents, but something had gone wrong. Sparks crackled along its surface, sending out pulses of blue energy. The air around it hummed, making the small child tremble. Liam's instincts kicked in. He could see the fear in the child's eyes. Most of the hovering guards were frozen in place, unsure what to do. He didn't hesitate. Without thinking of danger, Liam stepped onto the platform, his boots clanging softly against the metal floor. He called out, "Hey, stay still, little one, I've got you." The child, who Liam would later learn was named Kiri, looked up with wide eyes, fear mixed with hope. The energy field pulsed closer, like it wanted to push the child back, but Liam crouched low and moved forward. A guard floated near, wings of transparent energy lifting it above the ground. "Human," it said, its voice high and musical. "Stay back. That field is too dangerous. You could be destroyed." "I don't care," Liam said. "We can't let her get hurt." He reached out, using a small tool from his belt to adjust the field's control panel. Sparks jumped at him, and the machine let out a shrill alarm. His hands shook, but he stayed focused. Step by careful step, he untangled the energy pulses, timing them as they flickered across the barrier. Kiri's small hand reached toward him. "Human, please," she whispered, her voice trembling. Liam took her hand. "I've got you. Just a little more," he said calmly. His voice had the surprising effect of calming both the child and the guards. Finally, with one careful motion, the field quieted. The blue sparks died down, leaving the barrier stable and harmless. Liam lifted Kiri into his arms. She clung to him tightly, her tiny body trembling from the shock. The guards hovered silently. No one moved to reprimand him. Some looked at each other, unsure what to say. Humans were supposed to be fragile, unreliable, and easily frightened. Yet here was Liam, a human, who had faced a deadly alien energy field without fear. One of the guards finally spoke, almost in disbelief. He saved her. He actually saved her. The news traveled fast. By the time Liam set Kiri down near the children's area, a small crowd had gathered. Whispers filled the air. "The human is fearless. Did you see how he moved? No alien would dare do that." Kiri's eyes shone as she looked up at him. "Thank you, human," she said softly. Liam smiled. "You're safe now. Go play." The child ran back to the other children, still glancing over her shoulder at the human who had saved her life. Word of the incident reached the royal chambers quickly. Queen Alara, the ruler of the Virelian people, sat on a floating throne of crystal. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver, and her eyes glowed softly. "She saved her child," one of her advisors said nervously. "No one could have predicted a human." "Show me this human," Alara said sharply. Her voice carried both curiosity and authority. She had never trusted humans. They were small, weak, and unpredictable. Yet a human had risked life and limb to save her child. That demanded attention. Meanwhile, Liam had returned to his cargo ship thinking the matter was over. He cleaned his tools, checked the cargo, and prepared for his next delivery. He had no idea that the eyes of a queen were now upon him. But the city had changed. Children whispered about the brave human. Some adults looked at him with new respect. Even some guards who had doubted him now nodded subtly as he passed. It was a small ripple, but in a society as structured and cautious as Alarian, even a small ripple could become a wave. That evening, Liam took a quiet walk along the floating pathways. The sky above Virelia turned from gold to violet, and the crystal towers reflected the colors in a dazzling display. He thought about Kiri and how fragile life could be, no matter how powerful a city seemed. "You did well today," a voice said suddenly behind him. Liam turned to see one of the guards from earlier. "You risked yourself for a child you barely know." "It was the right thing to do," Liam said simply. "Anyone would have done it." The guard shook his head. "No. Most would not. Humans, you are different." Liam chuckled softly. He had heard humans were considered weak. Now he was beginning to see the gap between rumor and reality. As night fell, the floating city's lights twinkled like stars. Liam returned to his ship and looked at the stars above. Somewhere up there, perhaps other humans were living quietly, making small choices that could change worlds. He wondered if they knew how much one brave act could matter. In the royal palace, Queen Alara leaned forward on her throne. She had watched the events from a distance using her advisor's reports and security recordings. For the first time, she felt a spark of something unexpected. Respect. Not fear. Not suspicion. Respect. "This human," she murmured. "He is not like the others." And with that, she began to consider whether this small, brave being might play a role in a much larger story than anyone could yet imagine. The city of Valerian buzzed with excitement long after the blue glow of the energy field had faded. Word of Liam's bravery spread like wildfire. In the floating markets, alien merchants paused mid-sentence to whisper about the human who had saved a child. Children mimicked his movements, pretending to leap over invisible dangers. Even the guards who had once doubted him watched him with cautious admiration. Liam, unaware of the growing attention, went about his daily tasks. He delivered supplies to the various towers and platforms of Valerian, always polite and curious. He asked questions about the city's floating mechanisms and the strange technology that kept the towers aloft. The aliens were surprised at his interest. Most humans were said to be clumsy and uninterested in learning. One morning, as Liam was unloading containers filled with nutrient pods, a small group of children approached him. Among them was Kiri. She clutched a glowing flower, a gift she had picked from the gardens near the crystal towers. "For you," Kiri said shyly, offering him the flower. Liam knelt to take it. "Thank you, Kiri, it's beautiful." "You saved me," she said quietly. "No one else would have," Liam smiled gently. "Anyone would try. You're important. Don't forget that." The children ran off to play, leaving Liam to continue his work. But he didn't notice the small group of alien officials watching from a distance. They whispered among themselves, debating whether humans could truly be trusted. Some believed Liam's courage was a fluke, a one-time accident. Others saw potential in a species long thought fragile. Queen Alara, however, had not stopped thinking about him. She summoned her advisors to the palace's highest chamber. The throne floated above a pool of luminous water, reflecting her silver skin and the glowing crystals surrounding her. "Bring him to me," she ordered. Her voice was calm but carried an edge of authority that made the advisors hesitate. "Your Majesty," one said carefully, "are you certain? Humans are unpredictable. What if this act of bravery was a trick?" Alara's eyes glowed softly. "Perhaps. But courage is not easily faked. I wish to see for myself." Meanwhile, Liam's day continued as normal. He checked his cargo manifest, repaired a small navigation panel, and even helped a group of Varelian workers lift a fallen crate. Each act, however small, was noted by those around him. Rumors began to swirl not just about his bravery, but about his kindness and cleverness. Late in the afternoon, a messenger arrived at Liam's ship. The uniformed figure bowed deeply, its translucent wings fluttering softly. "Human Liam," the messenger said, "Queen Alara requests your presence at the palace." "It is a matter of great importance," Liam's brow furrowed. "The Queen, me?" "You are expected immediately," the messenger replied, handing him a small hovering platform that would carry him to the palace. Curiosity and nervous excitement filled him as he stepped onto the platform. As it rose, he saw the city from above. The glowing towers, the winding sky paths, the children running along the bridges. It all looked like a world from a dream. one that humans had rarely been invited to witness so closely. When the platform arrived, Liam was guided into the palace. The halls were filled with softly glowing walls, shimmering floors, and intricate patterns of light. The air hummed faintly, a sign of the city's energy systems. Finally, he was brought before Queen Alara. She sat on her throne, her gaze focused and intense. She did not rise. Liam bowed slightly, unsure how a human should show respect in an alien court. "You saved my child," she said simply. "I only did what anyone should do," Liam replied. "She was in danger. I couldn't leave her there." Alara studied him silently. Her eyes glowed brighter as she tilted her head. "You speak with honesty, and yet, humans are known for fear, weakness, and impatience. Why do you not share these traits?" Liam considered this. "I've seen fear. I've felt it. But when someone is in danger, helping them matters more than worrying about myself. Weakness doesn't matter if you choose courage." A murmur passed through the advisors. Some were impressed. Others were skeptical. Alara, however, was thoughtful. She had watched humans from afar for centuries and had rarely seen one act with such fearless compassion. "I will test this further," she said finally. "Your actions speak well, human, but the mind must also be proven. You will remain in Alarian for several days. During this time you will learn, observe, and face challenges. You may decline. I accept," Liam said without hesitation. "Good," Alara replied. "A human who understands duty and compassion may prove useful to more than just my child." Over the following days, Liam began to explore the city under the guidance of several alien mentors. He learned how the floating platforms were powered by energy crystals, how the citizens communicated with subtle light signals, and how the gardens of Alarian produced food in ways humans had never imagined. Each discovery fascinated him, and the aliens were impressed by how quickly he adapted. Despite his curiosity, Liam never sought favor. He helped where he could, whether it was repairing a malfunctioning platform or calming a frightened child. Each act quietly reinforced his growing reputation. Stories of the human who had saved Kiri now included his cleverness, patience, and willingness to help. Even the guards who had once doubted him began to speak more openly about his courage. One of them, a young Varelian named Telan, approached him one evening while they walked along a sky bridge. "You are unlike any human I have met," Telan said. "You are strong, but more than that. Your choices matter. You care." Liam shook his head modestly. "I'm just trying to do what's right. It's nothing special." Telan smiled faintly. "In our city, it is very special." Meanwhile, Queen Alara observed everything from her palace. She had sent scouts and advisors to follow Liam's progress, to understand his character in daily life. The reports were unanimous. Liam was clever, brave, and compassionate, yet Alara remained cautious. She had learned that even those who appeared strong could falter when faced with true danger. She decided that the final judgment must come not from words or deeds in safety, but from actions in the face of threat. As the days passed, Liam grew fond of the city and its people. He played games with the children, shared meals with workers, and helped maintain the floating gardens. Every moment reminded him that courage alone was not enough. Kindness and understanding were equally important. One afternoon, as he sat beside Kiri watching her play with other children, she looked up at him with a thoughtful expression. "Human," she said, "why do you help us so much?" Liam smiled. "Because helping is what makes life meaningful. Fear is easy. Kindness is harder, but it lasts longer." Kiri nodded slowly as if she understood more than her years should allow. But peace, Liam knew, was fragile. He could feel it in the subtle tension among some of the alien factions, whispers of envy and suspicion. He did not yet know that those whispers would soon turn into a challenge that would test every lesson he had learned about courage, intelligence, and compassion. As night fell on Alarian, Liam returned to his small quarters provided by the city. From his window he could see the glowing towers stretching endlessly into the violet sky. He thought of the queen, the child he had saved, and the mysterious path that had brought him here. Somewhere deep inside, he felt that this was only the beginning. His actions had rippled far beyond what he had imagined, and soon, those ripples would grow into waves that could change the city, the queen, and perhaps even the fate of the planet itself. And in her palace, Queen Alara leaned forward on her throne, her silver skin reflecting the soft glow of the crystal walls. "This human," she whispered. "He may not be what I expected. Perhaps he is exactly what we need." Liam had spent several days learning about Alarion and its people. He had seen the beauty of the floating gardens, the precision of the crystal towers, and the harmony in which the Virelians lived. Yet he sensed that his presence in the city had drawn more than admiration. It had drawn attention that was not always friendly. One morning, an official arrived at his quarters with a simple message. "The Queen requests your presence in the Hall of Trials," the alien said. "Prepare yourself. You will be tested." Liam's stomach tightened. He had expected curiosity, admiration, even gratitude, but a trial? He had no idea what the Virelians might require. Still, he knew he could not refuse. Humility and courage went hand in hand. When he entered the Hall of Trials, he was struck by its size and design. The chamber was enormous, circular, and surrounded by translucent walls that shimmered with shifting colors. The floor was smooth, reflecting the light in a way that made it seem almost liquid. At the far end, Queen Alara floated slightly above the ground, her gaze fixed firmly on him. "Human Liam," she said, her voice echoing softly. "You have proven courage in saving my child. But courage alone does not define a person. The mind and heart must also be tested. You may pass or fail, not through strength but through wisdom, compassion, and careful thought." Liam nodded. "I understand, Your Majesty." Alara waved her hand and the first trial appeared. A path of floating crystal platforms stretched across a wide chasm. Each platform pulsed with light, some steady, some flickering. The challenge was clear: cross without falling. As Liam stepped onto the first platform, he noticed the flickering crystals were dangerous. They could collapse if touched. He studied the pattern, timing his steps carefully. With steady balance and calm focus, he moved across the platforms, reaching the other side without a single misstep. A faint murmur ran through the observers. Humans were rarely so precise. Liam only smiled faintly, relieved to have passed the first test. The second trial began immediately. A young Virelian child appeared, surrounded by a complex array of energy barriers. The child looked frightened and began to cry softly. "This is a test of compassion," Alara said. "Rescue the child without causing harm to yourself or the barriers. Do not force your way. You must find another solution." Liam examined the barriers carefully. They were delicate and unpredictable. Instead of rushing, he studied the energy patterns and noticed a subtle rhythm in the pulses. Timing his movements with the pulses, he created a safe path to the child. When he reached the child, he did not grab or push. Instead, he gently guided the child along the safe path he had discovered. The barriers did not collapse, and the child's tears dried as soon as they were safely away. Alara's eyes glowed softly. "You observe, you adapt, and you act with care. Very well." The third trial tested his intellect. A puzzle appeared in midair, a floating cube of shifting colors and lights. The objective was simple: align the colors to create harmony. But the cube constantly changed, reacting to impatience and incorrect moves. Liam crouched and studied it. He noticed that each incorrect attempt caused the cube to shift faster. Instead of trying random combinations, he paused, breathed, and focused. Observing patterns, he adjusted each section carefully. Slowly the cube settled, the colors aligned, and the structure glowed brightly. "You understand patience and thought," Alara said. "The mind must guide action, not force it." "Well done." Finally, the fourth trial appeared, a simulation of danger. A massive robotic creature advanced toward a group of young aliens trapped on a platform. The creature was strong, far stronger than a human. Weapons were forbidden in this trial. Only strategy and intellect could save the group. Liam quickly assessed the surroundings. Floating pillars, energy channels, and structural weaknesses were scattered around the area. Using his knowledge of physics and the environment, he lured the robotic creature into a trap of his own making. It fell into a containment field, harmlessly restrained, while the young aliens were safely guided to secure ground. The observers gasped. Not brute strength, not alien technology, but human ingenuity had saved the day. Alara descended slowly, floating before him. "Human Liam," she said, her voice filled with approval. "You have passed all trials not by force but by observation, intelligence, and heart. You have proven yourself worthy of trust." Liam exhaled, a mixture of relief and pride. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only did what seemed right." Alara studied him quietly for a moment. Your actions show more than courage. They show wisdom and kindness. These qualities are rare, even among my own people. The Queen's words spread through the city quickly. Citizens whispered about the human who not only saved a child, but also demonstrated intelligence, patience, and compassion. Liam's reputation reached new heights. Over the next few days, Liam continued his work in Alarion, but now with a new role. He was asked to assist in teaching young Varelians how to solve problems using creative thinking, how to remain calm in dangerous situations, and how to act with kindness. Children flocked to him, fascinated by this human who combined courage and intelligence in ways they had never seen. One afternoon, as Liam guided a group of children through a puzzle involving energy streams, Kiri ran up to him, her eyes shining. "Human, you're the best teacher ever." Liam laughed softly. "I'm not the best. I just know that learning is important. Everyone can be brave and smart if they try. But you make it look easy," Kiri exclaimed. "You'll see," Liam said. "It's not easy, but it's worth trying." Meanwhile, Queen Alara observed Liam from her private chamber. She had sent advisors and scouts to watch him in both public and private moments. Every report confirmed the same truth. Liam was not just brave, he was clever, patient, and thoughtful. Yet she remained cautious. Humans are unpredictable, she reminded herself. But this one? Perhaps he is an exception. That night, Liam reflected on the trials. He thought about the risks he had taken to save Kiri, the careful steps he had made across floating platforms, and the decisions that had required both thought and patience. He realized that courage alone was not enough. True bravery, he understood, came with wisdom and care for others. The city's lights twinkled below, and the floating platforms glimmered in the violet night. Liam felt a quiet pride, but also a growing sense of responsibility. He was no longer just a visitor. He was someone whose actions had consequences for the people of Alarion. As he gazed out at the city, he knew that the next challenges would not come in trials or puzzles. Danger was always near in a world so vast and full of unknowns. The lessons he had learned in courage, patience, and compassion would soon be tested in ways he could not yet imagine. And in her palace, Queen Alara leaned forward on her throne, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. She had seen human courage, intellect, and kindness in a way that few of her own people could display. A thought formed in her mind. This human, Liam, might be the key to bridging worlds, forging alliances, and protecting the future of her people. "Yes," she whispered softly. "He is worthy. He is exactly what we need." The trials had ended, but the story was far from over. Liam's journey was only beginning, and the events that lay ahead would demand every ounce of courage, wisdom, and compassion he had demonstrated, and more. The city of Alarion was calm in the morning light. Crystals reflected the sun's rays, making the floating towers sparkle like diamonds, and soft music like hums echoed through the pathways. Citizens moved about their daily routines, some walking, others hovering in small platforms. Liam, now known and respected, was helping repair a damaged energy channel near the gardens, when a sudden alarm rang through the city. Red lights flashed across the platforms. A deep, resonant siren vibrated through the air. Citizens paused, some freezing in fear, and children clung to their parents. Liam's heart raced. "What's happening?" he asked Teelan, the young guard who had become his friend. "A rival faction," Teelan said quickly. "They plan to kidnap Kiri to weaken the Queen's position. We must protect the child and the city." Liam's mind sharpened instantly. He thought of Kiri, her small hand reaching for his when she had been in danger before. He knew he could not allow anyone to harm her. He raced toward the palace, where Queen Alara waited with advisors and guards. The city was in a state of alert, with energy shields activating and defensive drones patrolling the air. Alara's eyes were fierce. "Liam," she said, "this is no trial. This is real danger. The human's courage has now become vital. Will you help us?" "I will," Liam said firmly. Alara gestured toward the city map floating in the air. "The faction moves quickly. They have advanced technology, and they will use it without concern for life. You must think carefully. Do not act rashly." Liam studied the map. He noticed patterns in the enemy's approach and weak points in their formation. Unlike brute force, he planned a strategy using both human ingenuity and the aliens' advanced systems. "We can use the energy channels," he said, pointing at the map. If we redirect the flow, we can create barriers that slow them down. The drones can guide them into traps, and we can lead Kiri safely away from the danger zone. Alara's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. You are certain this will work? It will if we act together, Liam replied. Within minutes, he coordinated with the guards, the engineers, and the city's drones. Red energy fields rose along the pathways, forming barriers to block the intruders. Floating platforms shifted slightly to funnel the enemy toward areas that Liam had identified as traps. As the rival faction arrived, flying on dark, jagged ships, Liam watched from the control platform above. The attackers were fast and aggressive, but they were unprepared for Liam's clever planning. The drones guided the ships into energy traps, and the barrier slowed their advance. Still, one group of enemies managed to break through near the palace gardens. Liam's attention snapped to Kiri, who had been playing safely nearby with other children. He moved swiftly, calculating the best path to lead her away. Kiri, he shouted. The child looked up, fear in her wide eyes. Human. The bad people are here, she cried. Stay close to me. Follow my lead, Liam commanded. He grabbed her hand, guiding her through narrow pathways and shifting platforms. The enemies were fast, but Liam anticipated their moves. Dodging attacks and using the environment to his advantage, the city citizens watched in awe as a human moved with precision and bravery, directing the defense and protecting the most vulnerable. Liam's actions were not just courage, they were leadership. At one point, an enemy ship hovered above, preparing to attack a platform full of children. Liam quickly adjusted a control panel, diverting an energy pulse that disabled the ship's propulsion. It spiraled harmlessly into a containment field. Queen Alara watched silently, her expression unreadable. She had seen humans act in brave ways before, but this was beyond anything she had imagined. Liam's intelligence, calmness, and courage had turned a chaotic situation into a controlled defense. Finally, the enemy's leader appeared, a massive alien figure with sleek armor and glowing eyes. It attempted to break through the main energy shield to reach the palace. Liam studied the weak point in the shield's rhythm and instructed Tillin to open a controlled path that would trap the leader. The plan worked perfectly. The leader advanced only to become entangled in the energy nets Liam had orchestrated. The remaining intruders, seeing their leader trapped and unable to advance, retreated. The city sighed in relief. Energy shields lowered, drones returned to normal patrol, and the citizens began to cheer. Children ran to Liam, hugging him tightly. Kiri's small arms wrapped around his waist. You saved us again, she said, her voice filled with awe. Liam smiled, exhausted but calm. We did it together. Everyone played their part. Queen Alara descended from her throne area, her silver skin glowing even brighter under the city lights. She approached Liam, floating gracefully. Human Liam, she said softly but with power in her voice. You have not only saved my child, but also my city. You have demonstrated courage, intelligence, and leadership. You are no longer merely a guest. You are a protector. Liam bowed slightly. I only did what I could. Anyone in my place would have tried. Alara shook her head. Not everyone. Most would have fled or panicked. You acted decisively with thought and care. That is why you are different. That is why you are worthy of trust. The city erupted in celebration. Citizens poured into the streets, cheering for the human who had faced overwhelming odds and prevailed. For the first time, humans were not considered fragile or weak in Alarian. They were respected as brave partners. Tillin approached Liam, his eyes filled with admiration. You are more than a hero, human. You are a symbol. You have shown that even one person can make a difference. Liam looked out at the city, seeing families, workers, and children who had been protected by his actions. I only did what I had to, he said humbly. But deep down, Liam knew that this moment was different. He had not only saved lives, but also changed the perception of humans forever. The alien people had seen the strength of courage, intelligence, and compassion combined. Queen Alara extended her hand. Liam, I offer you a permanent role as my advisor and envoy. You will help bridge our worlds, guiding humans and Varelians to work together. Will you accept? Liam hesitated for a moment. The offer was extraordinary, unlike anything a human could imagine. But he thought of Kiri, the children he had helped, and the city he had saved. I will accept, he said finally. I will do my best. Alara's eyes softened. Then we begin a new chapter together. That evening, the city celebrated with lights, music, and displays of energy that danced across the floating towers. Liam walked through the streets with Kiri at his side. Children waved and citizens greeted him with respect and warmth. Liam realized that heroism was not just about facing danger, it was about inspiring others, using intelligence and acting with care and compassion. The city had witnessed a human proving that courage, thought, and heart could overcome almost any obstacle. As night fell and the stars of Virelia shone brightly, Liam looked up and thought about the challenges that still lay ahead. The threat had been defeated, but he knew that peace was fragile and that more tests would come. Still, he was ready, and in her palace, Queen Alara watched from above, proud and thoughtful. She had seen a human act not only bravely but wisely and kindly. She had made a choice to trust him fully, knowing that the bond they had forged could shape the future of her people and the relationship between humans and Virelians. Yes, she whispered to herself, he is exactly what we need. The future of our worlds may depend on him. The morning after the city's victory was quiet, but charged with energy. The citizens of Alarion moved through the floating pathways with renewed confidence. Children played freely. Merchants resumed their work, and the drones patrolled the city skies with ease. Yet beneath the calm, the events of the previous day had left a lasting impression. One human, Liam, had changed everything. Liam walked beside Kiri, who held his hand tightly, her small face glowing with excitement. He noticed the smiles and waves from citizens who had witnessed his courage. Tilan, the young Virelian guard, approached and spoke softly. You have earned the city's respect, Liam. They speak of your bravery and wisdom even now. Liam shook his head, smiling gently. I only did what I thought was right. That's all anyone can do. Still, he knew the truth. His actions had not only saved lives, but had also changed how humans were perceived in Alarion. From fragile outsiders, humans were now seen as capable, thoughtful, and brave allies. The city's central plaza, a large platform above the floating towers, was being prepared for a ceremony. Citizens gathered in small clusters, whispering eagerly about what was to come. Liam was guided there by the palace attendants, his heart beating faster than ever. He had faced danger, solved puzzles, and protected the city, but standing in the plaza before the entire population was something different. At the center, Queen Alara descended gracefully from her floating throne. Her silver skin glimmered under the sunlight, her eyes calm but radiant. Behind her were the royal guards, advisors, and many citizens who had witnessed Liam's bravery firsthand. Kiri ran ahead, standing beside the queen, her hand in Liam's. Today, Alara began, her voice carrying over the plaza, we honor a human who has shown extraordinary courage, wisdom, and compassion. He has saved not only my child, but also the city of Alarion from great danger. He has proven that bravery is not measured by size or species, but by the choices one makes. The crowd erupted in applause, their cheers echoing across the city. Children waved, adults clapped, and even the drones made subtle movements in celebration. Liam felt a rush of emotion but remained humble. Your Majesty, Liam said softly, bowing his head slightly, I am honored, but I only acted to protect those in danger. It is the duty of anyone who cares, Alara smiled. Your humility is part of what makes you remarkable. Courage, intelligence, and kindness. These qualities you have shown will guide not only our city but our future. Today I officially welcome you as an advisor and envoy between humans and Virelians. You will help us learn from one another, grow stronger together, and face any challenges that may come. The plaza filled with awe. Citizens whispered among themselves, realizing the significance of the moment. A human would now serve alongside their queen, shaping policies, sharing knowledge, and strengthening ties between their species. It was unprecedented. Liam nodded solemnly. I accept, Your Majesty. I will do my best to help both our peoples. After the formal announcement, Alara spoke privately to Liam. Your actions have inspired more than admiration. They have created hope. Many were skeptical of humans, but you have shown that one individual can change hearts and minds. I never expected that, Liam admitted. I only wanted to do the right thing. That is why you succeeded, Alara said softly. It is not just your courage, but your heart that matters most. As the day continued, celebrations spread throughout the city. Lanterns floated through the air, and music played softly across the platforms. Children followed Liam and Tilan as they demonstrated problem-solving exercises and safe energy channel techniques. Citizens approached him asking questions, seeking advice, or simply expressing gratitude. Liam realized that heroism was more than a single act. It was the ongoing effort to protect, to teach, and to guide others. Every small decision, every act of care created ripples that shaped the community. Later, Liam visited the palace gardens with Kiri. The soft glow of the energy crystals illuminated their path, creating a warm, peaceful atmosphere. Kiri looked up at him with wide eyes. "Human," she said. "I'm glad you stayed. I feel safe knowing you are here." Liam smiled, gently ruffling her hair. "I will always do my best to keep you and the city safe. But remember, bravery lives in everyone. You can be courageous too." Kiri nodded seriously, her small hand gripping his tightly. "I want to be brave like you." "You already are," Liam said softly. "Being brave doesn't mean never being scared. It means acting even when you are." As night fell, Liam stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The towers glimmered like stars against the dark sky, and the floating platforms hummed softly. He thought about his journey. From arriving as a stranger to saving a child, passing trials, facing enemies, and earning the Queen's trust. It had been a whirlwind of challenges, and yet he felt a sense of peace. Queen Alara joined him on the balcony, her presence quiet but strong. "You have done more than I could have imagined," she said. "The citizens of Alarion now see humans in a new light. You have shown that courage, wisdom, and kindness know no bounds of species." Liam nodded. "I hope this is only the beginning." "There is so much we can learn from each other." Alara's eyes glowed softly. "Indeed, together humans and Varelians can achieve far more than alone. And perhaps one day other worlds will see the value of cooperation as clearly as we now do." Over the following weeks, Liam settled into his new role as an advisor and envoy. He traveled between human colonies and Varelian cities, helping coordinate trade, education, and safety measures. Each visit reinforced the growing respect for humans, as Liam's reputation spread further. The bond between Liam and Kiri remained strong. She often accompanied him during lessons, showing other children how courage and cleverness could solve problems. She had grown more confident, her small hands able to manipulate energy streams and tools with skill. She was learning what Liam had taught her, not only bravery but responsibility and care for others. The people of Alarion began to adopt new ways inspired by humans. Their tactics in defense, problem-solving approaches, and even simple daily routines incorporated lessons Liam had introduced. It was a subtle, quiet revolution, one based not on domination, but on respect and cooperation. One day, as Liam stood in the central plaza teaching a group of children, Queen Alara arrived silently, observing from a distance. She smiled, seeing how humans and Varelians now worked together. The city had changed in ways that no one had anticipated, all because one human had acted fearlessly to save a child. Alara approached him after the session. "Liam, you have given us more than courage or cleverness. You have given us hope. Your presence reminds us that one person's actions can inspire a whole world." Liam bowed slightly. "I only did what I could. The rest comes from the people here. They are willing to learn and help too." "No," Alara said firmly. "It begins with one person who chooses to act, and that person was you." As the sun set over the floating city, Liam reflected on his journey. He had arrived as a human among aliens, uncertain and cautious. Now he was a bridge between worlds, a protector, a teacher, and a friend. He realized that heroism was not about fame or recognition. It was about courage, intelligence, and kindness, and the willingness to act even when the odds seemed impossible. Kiri ran up to him once more, holding a small, glowing flower. "For you, human," she said with a bright smile. Liam took the flower, smiling warmly. "Thank you, Kiri. Remember, bravery lives in everyone. Even you." She giggled and ran back to play with the other children. Liam watched her go, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. The city was safe, the Queen trusted him, and humans and Varelians had begun a bond that promised a brighter future. Queen Alara joined him, her presence calm and regal. "The future of our worlds may be uncertain," she said, "but with humans like you among us, I am confident we will face it together." Liam nodded, looking out over the city one last time before heading back to his quarters. The stars of Varelia twinkled above, a reminder that the universe was vast, full of challenges but also full of hope, and so, The human who had fearlessly saved a child became a legend in Alarion, not because of strength or power, but because of courage, wisdom, and heart. His story would be told for generations, inspiring humans and aliens alike to act with bravery, compassion, and respect for all life. For Liam, it was not just a story of heroism. It was the beginning of a journey where humans and Varelians would face the future together, stronger, wiser, and united.